Today is May 7th, 2019. I got my good pal back with me. That is Kucukovic. I'm Jay Boyal. You hopefully know us by now. We are in the mix. And Addis, I'm very excited for today's show.
Why?
Well, I don't know if the viewers have noticed, but we got a new acquisition in the background in our wall of fame. You got Sid the Kid. All right.
That's why you were excited? I thought you were going to mention something else.
I mean, Raps got a big game. There was a good game last night. We got a game 7 between the Blues and Stars tonight. Stuff's going on.
We got a lot to talk about.
I've always waited for the perfect time to add the Crosby jersey to the collection.
Why is this the perfect time?
Because I got a sick deal.
Okay, yeah, you got a sick deal, but man got eliminated in the first round. Why is it a good
Yeah, but he's got 3 cups. 3 cups plus a great deal for the kid. That equals you're now on the wall. Shall we head into the actual pressing matters, though?
Let's get into it.
All right. So, last night, I don't know how much you watched. I was glued to the TV. Golden State and Houston were trading shots in the third and fourth. But for the most of the game, Houston was controlling. I wouldn't say they were dominant, but they were in control, playing at their pace. They were patient. Even when Golden State was going on their runs, it seemed like they didn't really give a damn. They were letting Golden State go on those, which you know they're going to happen. They're going to have 8-0 runs. They're going to have 13-5 runs. But every time Golden State did one of those, it was in the second quarter, third, and fourth. They came back. Harden step back 3. Or Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker gets a big rebound. They were able to get it to a stop and then get their lead back. So I give, first off, kudos to Houston. But man, oh man, what is up with Golden State? We were fearing these guys all year.
I was going to say, this is the first year that no team that's facing them fears them. Every team that they've played against in a series so far has thought that we can beat Golden State. Clippers took 2 games. Houston now has 2 games.
I think the NBA,
there's something changing.
I think players are sick and tired of Golden State.
They're not going to fold over anymore.
They're sick and tired. Before it was, you knew they were going to win. Why were you even here, I think? Not the players were checking out, but that was kind of the mentality. And now it's, F these guys. I just want to kick their ass.
I think the main reason for that is you're Mr. MVP, top 5 player.
The only unanimous MVP like ever in the history of the NBA.
He's playing like a top 15 player.
Steph Curry, you think, is only a top 15 player?
I don't think he's top. I think he's top 10, but I don't think he's anywhere near top 5. And I think he's ruled himself out of that conversation.
I think
with his playoff play.
I think he's 6th best after these playoffs. You go back 3 episodes, I said he's got to be in that top 5. Kawhi was out. Yeah. Based off these playoffs, Kawhi has undoubtedly been the best player in the NBA playoffs. KD is a close second, if not first. And I think Steph is probably now in that 6th range. But because Jokic has played phenomenal as well.
Amazing.
You got Giannis.
To back up my point as he's the best offensive
let's go through it quick. You got Kawhi 1, KD 2, Giannis 3. Does Jokic go 4?
For playoff performance? What about Dame? You're not going to put Dame
Dame kind of fell off. He fell off after that first round.
He fell off still dropping 30 points a game.
All right, fine enough. Fine enough. Jokic and Dame are 4 and 5, right?
Yep.
Or sorry, 5, 6. I can't even count. 4, 5.
4, 5.
And then between Kyrie and Steph, 6, 7. Do you have any arguments with that?
I'd have Curry last. 7.
Okay, 7th. 7th best in these playoffs.
And that's your freaking top 5 player?
That is my top 5 regular season player.
Oh, wow.
If not top 3 regular season player. Hey, I am going to finally admit, you've known me for years and years. It's the first time I'll admit something is wrong with Steph Curry in the playoffs, and there needs to be more of a narrative placed on it.
There's always been something wrong. He can't dominate the game like these other players can. A way that like James Harden can, a way that Giannis Antetokounmpo can, LeBron James. He can't dominate the game like that. I feel like he has, for the most part, one way of playing, and once that stops going for him, he's kind of lost. You know, he kind of starts to fall back into the shadows of the game.
Does he though? Because in the last couple games, he still tried all the things that's made. When his shot hasn't fallen, he's gone to the hole. Yep. And I say he's one of the best finishers out of the guards. He's one of the best finishers, especially point guards at the rim. There's Kyrie Irving, number 1.
He's good at finishing at the rim on a fast break.
No, even in traffic. But
in traffic?
Yeah.
You're not throwing up that floater on traffic.
Well, you don't let me finish my thought. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And he does.
Man.
But for whatever reason, in the last 2 or 3 games, he's been unable to finish the rim, inexplicably so. And In Game 3, he was 2 for 8 on layups. And not to mention that missed dunk, which is a big gaff. But even last game, a little bit better, but still missing some wide open layups. And that's the issue. When his shot's not going, you don't see Steph taking those mid-range shots. He's either splashing threes or he's going inside trying to get a layup. And that hasn't been going for him.
But I feel like players have figured him out in that sense that if you body him up and get physical with him and get close up to him, he doesn't have much to offer.
Well, I think
he's not one of the best dribblers in the league.
Are you kidding me?
He's not.
Who's got better handles other than Kyrie Irving? Chris Paul.
Dame.
No.
Yes.
Not a chance.
Oh
Dame cannot open up space for himself like Steph Curry.
Yes, he does. That's exactly what he does.
No, he doesn't.
What do you mean? Dame
not as well as Stephen Curry. That is your Portland bias coming through.
That's not Portland bias. You can see it when they guard him. Even freaking Denver's having trouble with him.
Dude, that's because he's a quick, explosive player. A little bit closer to Russell Westbrook.
He's got ways to create space for himself.
But dribbles, I'm talking and creating your own shot. And how can you create that space to get to the hole?
Yeah.
Dame's using, it's more his speed and his strength that gives him that opening when he's driving to the lane. He is not cooking guys at 3-point line like Steph.
That's what it is when you go
or
through
Kyrie.
the lane. You ain't like even Kyrie uses his like strength in some like plays. He's not just creating himself open, just has an open floater or something. I think that's all Curry does. He just gets that floater going. He's not good with in traffic.
You think he floats it 15 times a game? What are you talking about, this floater?
That's all he does. It's either a floater or a 3-pointer. That's all I see.
I just talked about how he drives to the hole and lays it up. Floater. Are you calling a floater when he lays it up high off the glass? Is that a floater to you? Is that what you think? That's not a floater. A floater is when you come down the hole and you put it high up in the sky and you jump from 5-6 feet away.
Exactly what he does.
Oh my god, man.
He runs up to the net, throws it high up into the air so no one can block it.
Okay, so we're talking. You call that a floater. I call it a layup. So that's what we're talking about.
Regardless.
Yeah. But what happened last night? Who got them to that 2-point deficit late in the fourth?
Does that matter though? When you lose,
he gave them a chance to win until KD came up short.
Led the game in scoring.
Not much more than Steph.
He had 34, Steph at 30.
4-point difference. So 4-point difference. Congratulations, buddy. But
this is Kevin Durant doing this every single game that they've had in the postseason so far.
That's what he should be. Steph should be doing that, but he's not. But
he's not done that.
In that fourth quarter,
for years now.
Right? It was like about a minute 25 left. Steph hits what you call a layup, a floater. I call a layup. Through traffic. Yeah. Slices through 3 guys. Then it's a big 3 with 25 seconds left. Now down to a 2-point game. James Harden gets fouled. Misses the first free throw. Hits the second. 3-point game. Kevin Durant, you could not ask for a more open shot from straightaway 3. Yeah, but clanks it. He gets the rebound. He gets the rebound. And what does he do? Dumps it off to Steph with James Harden and another Rocket with 2 of them within 3 feet of Steph. With 5 seconds left, what is Steph supposed to do there? Puts up a bad shot, but he had no option with 5 seconds. If KD came and set him the screen, he could have gone to the left. But KD had that open shot, missed it, and then made a bad pass. He was like, it was almost like he said, "I took my shot, Steph. Here's your turn."
But that's kind of like that's how they play. It's either
but he also
if
have to
his
read
shot's
the game.
not going, you pass it to the next best 3-point shooter.
Yeah, but I'm not the best basketball player. But if I have a semi open and you're covered by 2 players, even though you're way better than me at it, I'm not gonna dump it off to you with 2 guys within 3 feet of you. When you can only shoot because you don't have enough seconds to dribble the ball out. Regardless, Kevin Durant's played great, but Steph got him in the position to come back and at least tie, if not win. And then KD came up short. KD had the opportunity to tie them.
The few times
he gave him the opportunity,
he loses. You say
every time he shows up, he loses. Last year throughout the finals, he was in.
Throughout the finals, he missed half the playoffs.
Okay, he was
missed
injured.
The first 2 rounds.
He was injured. It was 1.5 at the most.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, the first two games was the conversation for Finals MVP, and then KD just went ballistic and got Finals MVP.
But that's when you go to the finals and you're playing
LeBron James,
Cavaliers.
the greatest player of all time.
Yeah, but who's guarding you? Who's guarding Steph Curry? LeBron's completely occupied with Kevin Durant.
Now, the first championship Golden State won. Do you know who was guarding Steph Curry and he had pretty decent numbers? LeBron James was guarding him a lot of the time.
He was.
And Steph put up decent numbers. But I'm agreeing with you. Yeah. But I think, too, I saw Nick Wright and Chris Carter, First Things First, on FS1 talking about this. And I thought, which one of them said it, great point. There's a reason why you've never seen a player his size dominate the NBA, and especially in the playoffs. Because when it comes to the postseason, when, as you said, the refs are letting that clutching and grabbing and physicality go a little bit more,
Yeah.
you can tame down a guy like Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to both Steph and the Golden State Warriors, I think teams more and more through, now what we're talking 4 seasons of dominance, they're figuring out their system, right? They're figuring out how to make it super hard on them. And somehow Houston has turned the greatest 3-point shooting team in the history of the NBA into a 2-point layup team. So it's tremendous the job Houston's done, and James Harden has gone bananas on him.
But here's my issue with Steph Curry.
You're still on this. Go ahead.
I'm not going to come off it because I've had this issue with him for years. He was shooting 47% in the regular season.
Yep.
That's a great average.
Fantastic.
You want to know what his postseason turned to so far?
Can I guess? 36.
Less. Go 33.
Is that 3-point or field goal?
Field goal.
Are you sure? Jesus Christ. I'll believe you.
Yeah.
My God. I don't think.
Oh, no, that was 3 points, sorry.
Yeah, exactly, buddy. If you're going to come with
But
stats,
that's his game.
come correct
Is
or
his
don't
game
come
not
at all.
3-point? Is that not his game?
Yeah, and then when
They do call him the best shooter in league history of all time.
You don't think he's the greatest
No,
shooter
I
of
do.
all time?
I do. But I'm saying, how do you go from that to what you're producing for fucking Golden State now?
Hey, he's fallen off 100%.
Yeah.
And he's got to correct it if Golden State wants to have.
My biggest issue is he's not having, for the most part, the hardest guys guard him. You know? Even in the Clippers series, Patrick Beverley was all over Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant's a better scorer.
Yeah, he's a better scorer, but now when you have a better defender on him, doesn't this open up, space for Stephen Curry's who are coming up?
It should. And he needs to find a way to do it. But Chris Paul is probably top 3 in terms of defending point guards.
Yeah. Well, he's
So
also
a lot
top
of the
3
time-
in that position, so he knows.
A lot of times CP3 is ending up on him. And not to say that that's an excuse for Steph, but that makes
But
it
this ain't the same CP3 we've been seeing.
offensively. It's not. But the other aspects, he's still a good playmaker. He's still a good leader. And he's tremendous defensively.
But just whenever these top defenders, they start talking about who's the hardest guy to guard for you of other of other players on other teams, I never hear Steph Curry's name in there.
In terms of who the other team think is.
Who does this defender believe is hardest for them to guard? Such as my example was Patrick Beverley. When they asked him, he started naming off Dame Lillard. He even brought up Russell Westbrook. He was saying that these guys give him, like Kyrie Irving, these guys give him such hard time to guard. We were just talking about Steph Curry being a top 5. You're not even gonna mention him.
I
Play
think
his position too.
I think that also has to do with who you're asking. Okay, when you're
But
asking.
this is like the best defender at that position. One of the best.
Yeah, but when you're talking about Golden State, the best defender is always going to take Kevin Durant. So their
but
top
that's
defenders are not
A
guarding
point
Steph
guard
very
is
often.
taking Kevin Durant. That's crazy.
Well, if he's
But
your top
that-
defender, he's your top defender.
But then who's going over Curry?
Second best
Who's
defender.
gonna keep up with that speed?
So
you know?
isn't it the same with why does Klay Thompson guard the other team's best player? Well, it's just whoever's your best defender. Doesn't matter who they are, what the position is. You're gonna stick that guy on them. Especially when it comes to 1, 2, 3.
Even when there's
You're not gonna stick a 1 on a 5, but
even if there's a foot in height difference.
dude, KD is shooting over anybody in the league. It's just a reality. Guy's 7 feet with like a 9-foot reach. When he jumps up another foot, he's shooting at 10. He's shooting parallel to the rim.
Gotta get Boban on him.
Everybody else has got to get an arc to go up and back into the hole.
He's quick.
He's
too,
going
so-
downwards. So, hey, let's cap this off with this. What do you think the odds are for Houston beating Golden State? Keeping in mind game 5's going in Golden State, game 7's in Golden State as well.
I think it's gonna be a 7-game series.
All right, who do you think's winning game 7?
I still got Golden State going on though.
I do as well.
I feel like just offensively they're too much. They'll have their off games, but when they're on, they're on. Like they're unstoppable.
You know what's gonna happen? Steph's left finger, which got dislocated, is gonna start feeling a little bit better. His dribbles are gonna get a little more explosive.
I'm sure Draymond's
His
gonna do
left
something
hand's
else
gonna come
to
back. Draymond's
Harden.
up and down, man. He played
Big-
decent last night, and then
he
he's
did.
taking the dumbest drives, literally just throwing the body up as he's falling down. He has no body control. He's a loose cannon out there.
Yeah, but he's a dirty player. He can just do something against James Harden and
Yeah, you're dirty as in like
take him out.
like sneaky, like bad dirty, not dirty as in good.
No, not good at all.
Did you see he hit James Harden in the eye again?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he could just do this shit again and take James Harden out of this series.
Yeah, my God, I can't believe it. So
I feel like there needs to be more penalties to this guy. Kind of like, okay, you know what? Okay, it might be an accident, but your track record, cut it.
cut it. What do you mean? Oh, like for him, just stop doing your
Yeah.
antics.
Like, just like,
Once you play that way,
but I mean, like, there has to be more penalties to him to stop him.
Yeah.
Because he's in, like, he still does it. Like, he almost hit James Harden again in the eye.
he did. It's not almost. He did.
But, I mean, like, it didn't cause
But
the
this
same
time it
effect,
was
yeah.
because this time it wasn't fingers like he
Yeah.
did to LeBron and James Harden. It was a smack on the hand to the eye. All right, and you know what? You look at a guy like in hockey, Brad Marchand.
Yeah.
And everybody for a while was talking about this guy changed his game. He was suspended 5 times within 3 years, and now he hasn't been suspended in a few seasons. Well, if you've seen him these playoffs, he's done countless dirty things, punching guys in the back of the head when they're on their knees, hitting guys from behind,
Punching guys in the back of
Yep.
the head.
and he got no discipline. Literally, Scott Harrington was on his knees after a scrum. Brad Marchand came from behind, punched in the back of the head. Once you're
Was
that,
it like you were holding the
no,
stick?
it was a
and you kinda-
boom. It was a boom. Open
And no one
like
said
one
anything?
hand. No suspension, no fine, nothing. NHL didn't review it.
Can they can't can they review it after and give such
you
as they did with Ben Simmons? You know, after the game they
Yeah, what do you mean? That's
fined him and stuff.
that's how every discipline works in every sport.
So then how does that?
Because
not
George
happen to
Peros,
this
the head of
guy?
the NHL safety department, is a joke. We can get into that on another episode if you want. He's an utter joke.
We're gonna have
but-
to because.
But what I'm
fucked.
getting at is once you play that way, even if you curb your style and you play polite per se in the regular season, when it comes to playoffs and there's all these emotions. Look at a guy like Kadri. He didn't do anything this regular season that was red flagged, but playoffs brings out your natural tendencies and your emotions. And,
Yeah.
and once you
True
play that way,
personality,
you
yeah.
can't hold it. The beast is coming out. The beast, the beast is gonna be unleashed, just like the other beast that's been unleashed these playoffs. The top dog, Kawhi Leonard, and the Raptors have a big, huge Game 5 tonight.
Hey,
and-
dude, I feel like it's a must-win.
I was just gonna say, in my opinion, if you don't win this game, I
You
don't
can't
like
be,
your.
You can't
I
be
don't
in
like
that
your,
elimination seat, yeah.
don't like your odds going back to Philly.
Especially with the
to tie it
confidence. I feel like the confidence of the team is so easy to break. Besides Kawhi Leonard, take him out of that conversation. The rest of the starting lineup, once they have a bad game, it's almost like they carry that over. They're
Not
like, oh fuck.
not even a
This
bad
again.
bad game. They have a bad 4 minutes where they miss a few shots. Marcus Albrecht, Kyle Lowry, whoever it may be, and they put their tail between their legs and they pout.
That's why I was happy last game that they kind of got out, especially Gasol, he got out of that. He wasn't scared to shoot. Like, even if he was missing shots, he was still going for them.
Yeah.
That's what I need from you.
Well, what
Don't
have
just stop shooting, because that doesn't help anyone.
what have I been saying we needed from Marcus Gasol the whole time? Stop being a little.
Push inside.
Yeah. Stop being so soft and scared.
Especially on Tobias Harris. Like,
Dude,
there's
you were
such-
telling me
I know,
how many
but, like,
episodes
when I was
ago
watching last game, there's such a big
Get
size
outta here,
difference. I know, but it's just...
from arguing with me, just every time this guy argues with me, just watch 2 episodes later, he's gonna tell me how right I was.
And honestly, what's it called? Joel Embiid, he's a slow defender. His footwork is so slow on the defensive side.
Yeah, but his body is big.
He's big, but I mean, like, he just... Like, if you give him a quick step or something, I feel like you can get by him
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
So, Marcus Gasol took 13 shots, hit 7 of them,
Yeah.
and gave us 16 points. That's all we need from this guy. I don't need him to
Even
drop
less
30,
than- give me 10 points.
but I
and I'll
need
have-
more than your 5 to 7.
Yeah.
All right, and stop taking only 6 shots. Get involved, and it helps us so much.
But as much as he needs to get involved, we need guys like Kyle Lowry, who easily could be the second best player on the team, to also at least give us 10 points, give us 10, 15, give us something.
Especially if Siakam. What I don't understand with his calf
From last
contusion.
game too, yeah.
What I don't understand is, first of all, you're such a loser for hurting your calf that way. But second off, he was totally unable to do anything last game besides a dunk or a layup, which requires you to jump more than on a jump shot. So he couldn't do anything. But how can you elevate enough to dunk, but you can't hit any shot?
But how much does he really need to elevate? Him standing with his arms straight up in the air, I don't think he needs to jump.
All right,
much.
so how much, when you jump on your jump shot, you maybe jump in a foot.
Yeah. I think he just doesn't have. But that's what I'm saying with the confidence thing. They don't have trust in it. He almost feels like, oh, if I take a jump shot, it's gonna be a bad shot. Like, no, if you're open. How many times you see him he's open at the 3-point line, he passes it off. Unless he's in the inside, he won't take the shot.
As of late, very much.
I don't understand.
And they just gotta be way more assertive. Back up Kawhi. Come to play tonight.
Please help Kawhi.
And you gotta play hard and heavy. All right, that's a hockey term. Play hard and heavy, and stand your ground. They gotta continue the physicality they had last game. And when Kyle Lowry was banging and grinding, he wasn't complaining to the refs as much last game, except for one instance. Forget what happened. Oh, when he smacked himself in the face. He thought Ben Simmons hit him in the face.
Yeah, when he swung up like that?
Yeah, that's the only time I saw him complaining. And just go out there and play ball. Do whatever it takes to come with the W.
Again,
you know Kawhi's putting up close to 40. You know he's putting up close to 40. Just as a collective group, you got to get 60 to 70 more points.
That's what I mean. Like, when they're down 20... Out of the whole team, I feel like Kawhi's the only one that's like, no, we can still win this game.
We still got a chance.
I think the rest are like, okay, we'll write this one off. Let's think about the next game. Like, no, you're still in the game.
Isn't that weird to you? Because so many times throughout the season, even last year and the year before and year before, the Raps would start atrocious in the first quarter, go down 15 to 20, and then come back and win.
That was their whole game,
Yeah, that happened every other game.
Vice versa, too. Every time they were up 30 points going into the fourth.
This team cannot play a complete 48 minutes. You never have in the last 5 or 6 years. So why now against Philly when you get down that you put your head down and stop playing? Keep your head up and go to battle, go to war. I think Nick Nurse has got to make sure they're ready again come the first quarter like last game. It was close. It was a dogfight all the way through. And now you got to expect Joel Embiid was sick and didn't sleep last game.
Yeah.
So he's got a day in between games. I would assume he's going to get some sleep last night and come out ready to play. And you saw what he did in games 2 and 3.
I feel like it was just 3.
Okay, even 3. If he comes out like that again, that's a challenge.
But then again, I'm telling you, this is the whole phenomenon around Marc Gasol. For some reason, every time it hits like game 3, the other center has their fucking best game of the series.
Gasol also had 2 days before last game. Now he's only got 1 day in between.
Yeah.
You're in old legs. Are you gonna have enough energy
to
deal with an energized Embiid?
Yeah, energized Embiid. Is he energized? He's always got something wrong with him. He's either injured, he's sick. Mom yelled at him this morning. Like, it's always something with him.
Woke up the wrong side of the bed. But hey, I would put my money on the line that Joel Embiid is coming, dropping at least 20 points, 10 rebounds tonight. And how are you going to handle that? It's going to be adversity.
Who's going to step up? Going for 15 points, maybe.
All right, agree to disagree. But who's going to defend this guy? And how are you going to contradict him on the other end? Because if he's going against Siakam again, I don't know if Siakam's calf contusion is going to be better with 1 day in between games.
Probably
but
not.
He's got to do... If Joel Embiid has a good game, you need Siakam to do more than what he did last game when he was terribly ineffective. So it's going to be interesting tonight.
The thing with Nick Nurse to me is he's having a game like that. Why he's playing so many minutes? He's on the court. He's creating turnovers. He had about 5 fouls going into the fourth.
Yeah, but the rotation was so short last game.
I know, but it's like kind of like it's a liability again.
But he
having him on the court. Why
he really only used 6 guys last game, right? you had Lowry, Green, Siakam, Gasol, Ibaka, and then I think Van Vliet played like 10 minutes, and the rest of the guys 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, which is fine by me because Van Vliet and Powell have been so bad, and Kawhi had 22 games of load management. So if Kawhi can give you 40 to 43 minutes, fuck those guys. Keep them on the bench.
I don't know if you noticed, they benched again Kawhi at the start of the fourth for first
that's his rotation.
3-4. I guess it's a rotation, this time but I need that man on the court, especially tonight.
Yeah, but the next few games, he can't play 48 minutes, so you can't play 24 in the second half.
You want to know what happened when I think it was game 3 with Nuggets and Trailblazers? Did you see those minutes?
No, I didn't. Yes, I saw those minutes. That's quadruple overtime. What are you going to do?
I know it's quadruple, but you hear any of those guys complaining about how long they've played? 65 minutes for Jokic. 65 minutes.
You have no option when it goes that far. You have no option when it goes that far.
But if your team is losing, why not just continue that? Like, why not just keep the only guy that's producing for your team on the court the whole game? I'm sure he would have no complaints about that.
No complaints, but game 3... I can't remember game 4, but game 3, before they sat him at the end of the third to start the fourth, he was kneeled over on his knees, looking like he was gasping for air.
You know what that's called? It's
What?
called hard work. That's what happens when you're freaking putting in work.
Okay.
You get tired,
And now,
but you keep going.
do you want him to? I don't know
You
what
wanna be
Kawhi's
a
conditioning
champion?
level is, but do you want him to fizzle out halfway through the fourth quarter or the third
I
quarter?
guarantee you
So-
he won't, because I know he's a
You
top 5
guarantee
player in
he
the league.
won't.
Yes.
Just because you're top 5 player in the league doesn't mean you have the cardio to play 48 minutes. What correlation is there between that?
What do you mean? You're a top 5 player in the league.
LeBron James is the
Cardio is
only
your
player
issue?
who can play 48 effective minutes in a game.
Well, he shouldn't be, because, again, I think Kawhi Leonard's up there with the top players, so he should be able to do just what they're able to do.
No, you're missing the whole point here.
Oh, man.
Just because you're a good player does not mean that your body can handle
He's not
the
a
whole
good
game.
player. He's a great player.
Regardless, fantastic, amazing,
His
stupid
body can
good.
handle it.
How do you know that?
Because we've seen it.
His body failed for a whole season last year.
And a few other issues, too, I'm sure he's had with the organization. It wasn't just that
So you think that he was being a bitch last year and just sat out when he was healthy?
100%.
Oh wow.
Not
So-
when he was healthy.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure a lot of games he was like, no, I don't want to play. If this team is fine without me, okay, let them play.
They were not
without me.
fine without him.
Yeah, but they were acting like they were. They were saying they were.
What do you
Popovich didn't really care about
what do you-
him coming back.
Popovich cared, but he thought he was being. Popovich thought that he could play.
The
The Spurs doctors cleared him to play.
Exactly. So why do you think he wasn't playing? Because again, there's other issues going
So
on.
exactly. So then, if he's that soft, how's he gonna play 48 minutes?
because he's playing for an organization that he actually wants to win for.
Does he? Or is he playing to
With
make
his
sure he
play
gets his
so
max?
far, I have a feeling that he does. He's the only one showing up on that team.
All right. I think game 5.
Where I wanted to get to, though, I think he's the best player in franchise history.
All right. That's not even
Do
a
you
hot
agree
take.
with that?
That's not even a hot take. That's a given fact.
Okay, I thought you were gonna argue that, bring up Vince Carter, like Chris Bosh.
Chris Bosh.
You love Chris. You
I
love
love
Chris
CB,
Bosh
but
more than anyone that I know.
he went to the playoffs like twice and didn't win the series. How could he be better than Kawhi Leonard? And he's never dropping 40 in a playoff game.
Exactly.
He's not the two-way player
Thank you.
Kawhi is. But the sad thing is, greatest player in Raptors franchise history played, 60 games? That's gonna be his legacy. 60 games this guy played,
But
plus 20 playoff games max. Greatest player in franchise history. God bless him.
That's how
God
great.
bless.
That's how great he is.
And that's
That
how.
it took him 60 days to be the best player in franchise history.
No, he's the greatest because of his skill, not because of
Yes.
what he did for the organization. In terms of who did the most for the organization, that type of greatest, DeMar DeRozan, 100,000%. But
Well,
it's
he took the conference, the
hey,
only time conference finals.
we'll
with them.
revisit this. I cannot wait till the day, July 5th. I would have messed. That's me. Free agency opens July 1. I think by July 5th, maybe July 10th.
So you're writing
it'll
them
be
off to not
announced.
making finals this year.
They might make the finals. I still think Kawhi's gonna leave though.
So you think even
My
if
gut's telling me he's gonna leave, and that moment I'm gonna be looking at you and every other Toronto Raptors fan who is crying and sulking, and I'll be sitting here with my feet up on this very table, cracking a beer, laughing, saying, "I friggin' told you so."
and if opposite happens,
And I'll eat my
stays?
words, and I'll be happy. I want him to stay, but I'm being
you
realistic.
seem a little too happy with him leaving.
No, I'm just being realistic. I'm not gonna get myself excited and high up on something when it goes south, because this happens to. Have you not been a Toronto sports fan your whole life?
I have, but
Have you not learned
I
how
always
things
keep
goes for us?
keep my hopes up. Why do you think
And how many times your hopes
coming-
been done crushed?
Constantly? What do you mean? Look at our last podcast.
Exactly.
How down on the Raptors were we? And then come to today, we're like, oh yeah, it's great. Like I'm happy.
No, it's not great. It's gonna be
I
tough to
still
win the
think they're gonna
series. I
win the
don't think it's.
series.
Yeah, though. I think
Ask
they'll
me
win the
last-
series.
Ask me last game when they lost, I would be like, I don't know.
No,
I
I
would've
still
put my
thought they
money on
would
it.
win. I thought they were in trouble, and it was gonna be a lot harder to win than we thought after game 1 when it was a 20-point smack. And you're part of the problem I have with people in Toronto, man. After game 1, oh my God, it's gonna be a sweep. We're taking them in 5. After game 4, after game 3, oh my God, we're gonna lose this series. I can't believe what's going on. Oh
I
my
didn't
God.
think we were gonna lose the series, but I wouldn't put my money on winning it.
People in
after that
Toronto are
game.
messed up, man. I can't handle all y'all.
Hey, it's called passion. It is. When you're passionate about something, you act stupid.
All right,
And
at least you admit that you were acting stupid.
I think the
Shaqtin' a
whole
fool.
city acts stupid. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, they do.
Think about it. Yeah, like even when we lost game 1 against Orlando, bro, I did not hear the end of it. Like it was like, they're so shit this year. It's the same team. It's like, bro, give them a chance to fucking
Dude, the worst thing is
come
like
back.
after Leafs playoff games, even after big regular season games, I hate going to work. I work at a hockey store in Etobicoke, and customers are all giving their opinions. I like my customers, some cool people, but everybody thinks they're a genius GM, giving their opinions.
They figured it out.
Even coworkers and everybody saying their stuff. And there's sometimes when I just want to go off and slam people, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna bite my tongue. What's the use?
Exactly.
What's the use in getting this debate right now?
That's the whole thing.
And they're all just so heartfelt, and butthurt, man. Just thinking with their heart, and it's tremendously annoying.
With Leafs, though, it's different. I can understand that with Leafs, especially the last few years we've had.
Right, same thing with the Raptors. They get your hopes up and they crash and burn. But it's
What
what
can
was
you do?
realistic about it. This is what you got to take away, right?
Well, since we're talking about Toronto and sports teams, what do you think about Mr. Babcock getting re-signed?
Well, he's not re-signed. They just confirmed that he's
Well,
coming
that
back.
they're continuing him. with
I
him.
I think nothing of it because I never thought he wasn't gonna come back.
No?
I was not of the opinion that he was gonna get fired. I was frustrated with some of his decisions, but I do not think that he should be fired. What my main thought process was, he needs to make adjustments. He needs to stop being so hard-headed, and he has to change. And what I liked about Kyle Dubas, what he said yesterday, apparently, according to Bob McKenzie, TSN insider, who said he had a conversation with Dubas, was he said Babcock coming back, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And he said, we had a great conversation, and we know there's room for improvements and adjustments we have to make, and we had great management meetings, and we all think that we have the group here to do it in terms of the management and the coaching. So Dubas wants adjustments made for Mike Babcock. Is Mike Babcock going to make these adjustments? That's the biggest question mark.
Can you teach old dog new tricks?
I hope you can, because if you can't, well, it's going to be the same song next year.
What are the chances of you going to Greg Popovich and asking, I want some adjustments on how you coach the team?
How many championships does Greg Popovich have at us? Tell me.
Okay, but I'm
5, right?
saying,
No. Answer
Yeah.
the question.
Okay,
It's a bloody
5.
question.
Go.
How many does
Yeah.
Mike Babcock have? 1. He won one time, 2008.
But is he
And
not,
he won gold medals
is he
for...
not regarded as one of the best coaches in the league?
Yeah, he is. And to be honest, that's kind of a gray area right now. You got one Stanley Cup. Great team. Congratulations. You did great.
Yeah.
And then you won gold medals with Canada. The greatest teams ever assembled. Now, he made them play great, but it's a lot easier to coach when you have the best players in the world. That 2010
is,
and
yeah.
2014
You got the talent
Olympic
right,
teams
right?
were stacked. So it's easy to get them to buy in when it comes to the national team because those guys are dying for their country. So what happens when it's back to the club team and when you don't have that same skill set? Can you get these guys to buy in, and can you get them to buy into the right system? Are you using the right system? And he's not using the right system, so can you make the right adjustments? He's not using the correct player usage. So can you make adjustments?
Did he provide any thoughts on that?
Babcock?
Yeah.
He spoke a bit on his end of season press conference. His end of
What did he
season
say?
press conference was a waste. Like, nothing came of it. He didn't really give much.
They talk about making adjustments?
Oh, they asked him the questions. He beat it around the bush, gives this classic cliches. Didn't admit any faults on him. And it's funny that the stark difference. Babcock does his interview, doesn't take any of the blame. Kyle Dubas does his interview, 20, 30 minutes later, accepts the blame for... It's a rookie GM who's in his low 30s, 32 or 33 years old. Accepted the blame for every single thing that went wrong with the Leafs this season. Are you kidding me? You inherited this team. You didn't build this team. You brought in Jake Muzzin. And, okay, you signed William Nylander late. But that's a man taking it on the chin. And Mike Babcock is an
But
older
again-
man,
then
been
again, you
around,
did
and just
say-
deflects everything.
He's he's young, he's a rookie coming into it, his position. You kind of have to at that point to earn respect.
I guess, but
know?
he didn't have as much impact on this team. He brought in Jake Muzzin, which is a great trade, and people wanted to bring in more.
Yeah.
And he literally, it's hilarious watching that press conference. He literally accepted the blame for everything. People were kind of making jokes of it, like he's being stupid, but I think that's a guy who says, it's my job to build this team. I didn't make this team good enough. Well, he gave a pretty good darn team, and the coach couldn't use that team
But that's
good
also
enough.
a guy that it's good because it's a guy that wants to move forward. You know, okay, I'll accept all the blame. It's all my fault. Sure. Now we can move on.
It was good on him.
Best way to do it. Not make up excuses and act like you're not to blame.
I'm intrigued for the next Leafs season. This offseason is still going to be very tough. And this is only the first part of a lot of moving pieces for the Leafs.
Yeah. There's still the playoffs going on.
And you still got to see sign Mitch Marner, Kasper Kapanen, Andreas Janssen, figure out the whole shebang, try and add
Yeah.
defense. You're going to lose other defensemen. So it's going to be a tough. So when you arrived here hour and a half ago, there's a press conference going on TV
Yes, it is.
introducing Mr. Ken Holland as the Edmonton Oilers general manager. I am still mind-boggled as to how this even happened. Even listening to him talk, he didn't give away a whole lot, but he just said I want to be a GM.
There's no
still.
hint at him leaving Detroit. Like there's
No.
Came
Came out of the blue about 4 or 5 days ago. The rumor saying this might happen. So just for those who aren't aware, Ken Holland, I think he's been in the Detroit Red Wings organization for about 30 years. GM for 2 decades. Brought in Steve Yzerman
It's so long.
to Detroit.
It's insane.
Steve Yzerman left Tampa Bay midway through last season for family issues, personal reasons. Moved back to his Detroit where his family is, and then it was assumed that Ken Holland was going to bring in Steve Yzerman to become the GM, his predecessor, who Yzerman played under him, and then started his front office duties under Ken Holland as well. Went to Tampa Bay, got the experience, now come back home, and Ken Holland would take a senior role right off into the sunset. And then a week later,
Exact opposite happens.
he's now the general manager of the freaking Edmonton Tire Fire Oilers. Like, he didn't go to, say, if Pittsburgh, like Jim Rutherford, wanted to step down, or a team that was decent, and he just got to tinker and he can go for another cup run. He's got to do a full tear down and rebuild and regroup. And this guy's old.
But what do you think like motivated him to make that? Was it the money? Was it
I
the
don't think-
All-Star and McDavid? Was it
I don't think it was the money. I think his will to be more involved. I think he realized that, hey, being a general manager is way more fun than just being an advisor and a president, because as general manager, you're actually involved. But now this is a guy who was 63 years old, and I think just signed a
he still has that
5-year
fire
deal.
lit under him.
Still got that fire, and I think he
That's
realized once he brought in Steve Yzerman, and Stevie Y was probably sharing his ideas for what they have to do.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Oh my God, I'm not even gonna be involved anymore. This guy's got it all handled. He doesn't even need me here." Edmonton came calling. Bob Nicholson, who he's got a relationship with, who's a head of, I don't know his title. He's president of something for the Oilers, makes all the decisions. But now Ken Holland is president of hockey operations, and he decided, hey, let's go for it. But the one thing out of that press conference that makes me very worried, everybody knows Daryl Cates, Edmonton Oilers owner, is a disaster. And the one word he said was, we have to turn this thing around quickly. And as soon as he said quickly, it brought me back to nightmares of when Brian Burke was the Leafs general manager. And when in the lockout year, 2011, when he tried to excel the process to take us from a crappy team to a contender. Didn't do it right. Skipped a lot of steps, traded draft picks for Phil Kessel, for James Van Riemsdyk, other guys, and you screw yourselves up.
I feel like you get pushed by like the fan base and everyone.
Yeah.
They want quick change. They don't want.
But how did the Leafs
wait 4 or
finally
5
do
years.
it? When they brought in Brendan Shanahan, Mike Babcock, everybody, they said, look, there is pain coming. Lots of pain. We're going to be bad for a few years, and you have to go do it the right way. You get a first overall pick, even though you always have had lots, and you build through the draft, all right? Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Janssen, Kapanen, Kadri, Riley, everybody is homegrown besides John Tavares and Jake Muzzin. That's the way to do it in hockey and in most sports. And Daryl Cates is going to put so much pressure on Ken Holland, but Ken Holland needs to have autonomy over everything to do it the correct way. Because if Edmonton tries doing what they've done for so many years and just excel this thing as quickly as they can, it's going to be another complete disaster. And I don't even know how they can do that given the situation that they're in right now.
Yeah.
You only have $8
trade a
million.
lot of pieces.
You only have $8 million in salary cap space this coming season, and you have a lot of guys who are very bad, making way too much money. Like, can we just go through their salary situation for a second? Just get it open here. So you have Connor McDavid making 12 and a
Top of
half.
the list.
Leon Draisaitl is making 8.5, and that's all fine and dandy. Then you have Milan Lucic, who's a borderline NHL player now. Like, you could say he shouldn't be in the NHL, legitimately. Has only scored.
How much is he making, sorry?
He is making $6 million.
$6 million.
$6 million, and he's
to a
got
guy
about
that's
10 goals in the last
maybe
2
9.
years. 10 goals in the last 2 years, all right?
Damn.
Nugent Hopkins making $6 million. Now, a little high for your third-line center, but sometimes he plays the wing, so it's tough, but he's a good player. So you can live at that. Then you've got like Andrei Sekera, another guy who's, at best,
Barely in the league.
he should be in the league, but at best he's your third pairing defenseman, fifth or sixth defenseman. All right, and he's making $5.5 million for 2 more years. Then you have Oscar Klefbom at a good deal, 4.1. Adam Larson, you traded this guy. You traded Taylor Hall for this guy, and again, is now a third pairing defenseman making 4.1 for the next 2 years. Then you have Chris Russell, who is legitimately should not be in the NHL anymore. Father Time has passed him on. And you owe him for another 2 years $4 million. So you have $8 million in cap space. Guys to re-sign. And how are you going to make this team competitive quickly as Daryl Cates wants? Nobody's even going to take Milan Lucic's contract. Nobody's taking Andrei Sekera's contract.
Well, I'm thinking he just gave the people what they want to hear, you know? You fed them.
I don't think Edmonton wants to hear that anymore. They've realized you have to do this the right way. And with the proper management group, I know they've been rebuilding, it seems like, for 10 years. But you never had the proper people in place to make the proper draft picks.
Now you do.
Now you do. Look at...
It's time.
They took Nel Yakupov first overall. The guy was out of the league 3 years later, or 4 years later. First overall pick out of the league in 4 years. And then you took Jesse Puljujarvi a few years ago. Guy's equated to zilch. Can't play more than 10 games in NHL before he's sent back down. But now you have a guy who can get the proper draft staff.
Maybe there's something they see that they can change to make a quick
God.
change. Never know.
You have $8 million. You have 3 or 4 pieces that you want to re-sign. That's going to take up probably 6, 7, or maybe even all 8 of that million. So you have no way to bring in any new players this season without trading Lucic and Sekera. And who's going to take those contracts? Even if they retain the maximum allowed 50% of Milan Lucic's contract, $3 million, nobody even wants that guy in lineup for $3 million. Still. So what are you going to do? Bury him in the minors? Even if you bury him in the minors, his contract won't come off the books until the start of the season. So you still can't make moves in the summer.
Only time will tell where this team goes.
I really hope Ken Holland gets it together. I just need Daryl Cates to take a step back and let a guy who's renowned as one of the best managerial executives in the history of the NHL do what he's got to do.
All right, well, let's jump out of these teams that aren't even in playoffs.
And
Still got some playoff hockey going.
We do. All right, tonight.
What are you thinking for tonight, Dallas? Think they're gonna go through?
No.
No?
No.
Let's hear why.
I'm going with my rookie goaltender, Jordan Binnington. He's gonna respond tonight with a huge game. They took last game 4-1, I believe it was. Ben Bishop took a shot to the collarbone. Not sure if you saw that. Then allowed 2 goals, left the game. Jim Montgomery, the head coach, said he didn't leave because of injury. He left because we wanted to pull him, but we checked him out. The guy got hit in the collarbone, let in 2 goals right after, then went straight to the dressing room. He left the game because he was injured, buddy. Who are you sugarcoating
Personal
here?
reasons.
I know.
He had a phone call to me.
I know his X-rays came back negative, but that hurt. he was phased the rest of the game.
Of course,
Ben Bishop will respond, but I think this St. Louis team is so deep, way deeper than Dallas. First, second, and third line, they contribute. They play so hard. They come at you in waves. And Jordan Binnington is quickly becoming one of my favorite goalies in the league to watch. He's so technical. He's not like a guy like Matt Murray in Pittsburgh or some of the other younger guys, Carter Hart, relying on the athleticism. He is technical by the book, like by the textbook, and there's no gaps in his game.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, but he's not so steady. When he needs to get over and make those quick athletic saves, that's the thing. He's young, and he gets it done. He's a local product. Played for the Vaughan Kings growing up, so pretty much our backyard. Vaughan Kings, man, like he's literally local boy. So I'm all for him. But even I just like St. Louis in this game. Craig Berube has got this team doing tremendous things. What are you thinking?
Just to be devil's advocate, I'm jumping over to Dallas.
Is there a reason, or you just want to get me going?
Just get you going. Just get you riled up.
Hey.
And just so if Dallas wins tonight, I have something to say tomorrow.
Well, Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn, if Dallas has any chance to win, Dallas is not deep at all.
You don't think Tyler Seguin can do anything?
No, he will. But in the playoffs, you need your best players to be your best players. The problem is when you only have 2 guys who are elite, and then your drop-off is far after that. Radulov is good. Spezza's fallen off. There's nobody else to back them up. Such a big drop-off. It's a lot of pressure on those guys from the Game 7. Point. They did. But I always take the deeper team in Game 7. All right?
That's a smart thing to do.
If your top guys can't come through,
yeah, but
St.
the thing
Louis
is,
still has
what if
2
your
lines
top
to go.
guys come through and that's Game 7?
Well, St. Louis has got 3 lines that can come through then. 3 lines. Yeah, and I take their defense over Dallas' defense any day as well.
Those 3 lines comparable to Seguin?
Yeah. Now, I will say, the best player in the series is probably Tyler Seguin. Vladimir Tarasenko on St. Louis is close. Now, but this isn't basketball. In basketball, 97% of the time, unless you're playing Golden State and you're LeBron James, the team with the better player wins the series. But this is hockey. Your best player is playing, if he's a forward, max 22 to 25 minutes a night. 25 is very high. I don't even think a forward's played that this year unless it was a playoff double overtime
It's
game.
also it's a physical game. You can't be playing too many.
Exactly. So I'm taking St. Louis, and I think I'll be right tomorrow when I wake up tomorrow morning because I have hockey tonight, and it's a late game. But I'll throw some money on there tonight. Hopefully come out on top. I haven't looked at the odds.
On there today?
Yeah, I haven't looked at the odds, but those will spend a little cash on St. Louis.
Might throw some money on Dallas then.
Oh, and hopefully I'm singing blues music tomorrow morning and praising them.
You might be singing blues music tomorrow morning because you're going to be sad from that loss. Losing some money.
That's
You're going to have the
good
blues.
All right. We got the Bruins and Hurricanes. Doesn't even sound right. Boston Bruins and Carolina Hurricanes
Exciting.
playing in the Eastern Conference Final.
Who do you think Boston's going all the way?
Yeah, so this gives me bad nightmares for Hurricanes fans. I know it's a totally different team, but this is literally reminds me of 10 years ago in 2009. Carolina went on a crazy run and made the conference finals. Do you know what happened to that conference finals, my friend Addis? They got swept by these two guys in 4 games.
Yeah, but by those two guys.
Yeah.
Is Boston comparable to those
Boston
two
has guys who are cup champs, veterans, better players. Carolina doesn't have a lot of guys who have been there and done that.
Up on your wall?
Who? Boston on my wall. Buddy, just go let yourself out the back door, not even the front. Go out the back door like my dog.
You're hiding that flag over there.
Oh, buddy. Turn the flag. It's a friggin' Leafs flag. Showing all the Stanley Cups they've won. And yes, I know the last one was 1967. I mean, no, what I was getting at there. I think Carolina, all the credit to them. They battled and scraped against Washington. But then you went against a lackluster Islanders team that had a very easy series against Pittsburgh, who just didn't show up. And I think what's going to happen to Columbus might be what happened to Islanders. Get all high on yourselves because you swept. And what happened to Columbus. And then the next series, you're not ready to battle like you were the last one.
Momentum dies out.
And Boston's a much heavier team, much more physical, much more experienced. Again, a deeper team. So the one nod I will give is Carolina's defense is, I would say, very close to the quality of Boston's. Everybody wants to give Boston a great defensive core. Really, after Charlie McAvoy, Zdeno Chara-old, Torrey Krug, after that, it falls off pretty hard. Tuukka Rask has been playing amazing. But Peter Mrazek and Curtis McElhinney, who no matter who's in the net for Carolina, has been decent. But I still think they're going down max 6 games. And Boston's going to be in the Cup final, and I hope they get their butts handed to them.
So who do you see in the Cup final? What are the two teams? You got Boston and who?
Well, here's the thing. We don't know who's going through between San Jose and Colorado. If I had to guess...
Take your guess.
If I had to guess, I'm going to say San Jose. Actually, am I? This is tough. Thing is, San Jose has had opportunities to close out Colorado. Didn't get it done. Last night, lost, I think, 4-1 as well. Oh, sorry. No, it was a closer game than that. 4-3, 3-2. And Game 7 against Vegas, they should have lost. The ref, Dan O'Halloran, handed them the game. So I'm going to go out on the limb and say Colorado beats the Sharks. Then the Blues beat Colorado. And then Blues and Bruins Cup final. And we'll see how right I am on that.
All right.
Who do you think?
There you have it.
Who do you think's winning between Boston and Carolina?
Again, devil's advocate. I'm going Carolina.
Why, you like the young boys? Think they're going to upset?
Let's go.
Well, hey, they proved everybody wrong so far.
Let's go.
All right, now there's a couple little segments we want to introduce to our show. One, you want me to go boil and over? Or you want to start with the Wasteman of the day?
Start Wasteman of the day.
All right. So,
Who are you giving it to?
I think we were giving it to the same guy.
Who?
I thought we had
Do we have
discussed
this
this.
pre-planned?
I mean, I thought we talked about it a bit, but I'm giving it to a guy who I'm actually a fan of, thinks a great reporter, great analyst.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about
Oh
this.
my god!
Actually,
You're such.
fuck that guy.
It's like I'm hosting with a goldfish. 13-second memory or something.
I
We are
actually
talking
forgot.
about Fox Sports. Chris
Fuck.
Broussard.
Pussy man.
So, for those of you who are not aware, I am not taking offense to this. I'll get to his comments as a Raptors fan, but as a Canadian. So,
I'm taking
He-
offense to it any way that he's giving it. If he's
So-
giving it as a Raptors,
yeah.
I'm
So,
taking offense.
he was on what's Colin Cowherd's show, The
Yeah.
Herd. The Herd with
The Herd,
Colin
yeah.
Cowherd. And talking about the Raptors after Game 3. And he said, hey, you know what? I love the country of Canada, but they are soft. And their basketball team, the Toronto Raptors, are soft. Then he goes, Drake is a great rapper. I like Drake, but Drake is soft. And the Raptors are soft, and I like visiting Canada, but they're all soft. Then,
Where is he from?
I don't know, somewhere in the States. What does that matter? And
I
then,
want to know where the fuck.
even
he's from
after
that
Game
he's
4,
this
when the
soft.
Raptors win, he reposts his comments and says, I lit a fire under the Raptors. They listened to what I had to
Yeah.
say or something.
Get
And
the
that
fuck out,
and
bro.
that
No,
is
I
that is
didn't
what
know
set
about
me
you
off the
until
top.
now.
Are you kidding me, Chris Broussard? If you want to say the Raptors are soft, I get it, because I agree. They are a soft team. But first of all, what every player on that team is from the United States of America, where you're from, other than Pascal Siakam and Marc Gasol. Is anybody else that isn't from the States on that team?
I'm trying to think.
We don't have any Canadians anymore. Chris Boucher's in the minors, in the G League. They're all American. So how,
Yeah.
by association, is a bunch of Americans that play in Canada make the whole country soft? When all of our athletes go and play hockey, and I will guarantee you, every NHL player could smack the living smack out of NBA players. How are we soft?
Maybe.
Go to the streets of Toronto. Go to Surrey, BC. See if we're soft. I don't even want to go to those areas, but we're soft.
I don't know.
That is the dumbest argument I've ever
Bro.
heard. He's saying it just for clout
He's
and to get
literally-
a stir,
Bro,
and
I've
he's
never
got me
seen
fired
a man
up.
that old clout chasing.
I've never.
Bro, like I don't. Bro, it's good. Again, I didn't know who the fuck this guy was coming into this comment. After this comment, now we're talking about him on the podcast.
He's pretty renowned. He's got good relationships with LeBron James, a lot of the top NBA players. But
Clearly, it wasn't helping him enough. And yet, fucking.
But this
say
was
some
just
stupid ass shit.
unacceptable. He's literally just trying to get.
He's soft.
just
bro.
trying to get
the
famous.
Fuck out of here. You can't
He's soft.
Yeah. Like, he can't even. He's not even an athlete. Like, who are you to, like, tell fucking a whole country soft? Like, nah, bro.
Thing is,
I love how Howard tried to. What's it called? Like, kind of like save him. He was like, oh, they're really nice people. And he's like, no,
Colin
they're
Cowherd
soft.
loves Canada.
Yeah.
He says some things like the Raptors suck, which is fine. But I don't know what the correlation is between a bunch of Americans playing in Canada being soft. Therefore, all of Canada is soft. Because we say sorry, thank you.
And honestly,
Because we're polite.
personal experience, bro, people in the States are way nicer.
No.
Bro, I went down every time.
I don't think we're soft, but Americans are assholes.
Really, bro. Every time I've gone down to the States, I've met the nicest people.
No, I'm
They're
not
so
saying the whole
open.
country. That's if
No,
I
but
went and said,
like, I don't like. I've had interactions with people in the States that I don't think I'd have here in Canada. Like, it was like you'd be sitting at a dinner table about to eat, and then the person at the table beside you's like, "Oh, what'd you get?" Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds like, it's like whoa, fuck, like
Yeah.
you're meeting people all around you.
well, what I'll
randomly.
say is, I'm not going to say all the United States assholes. You meet some pricks everywhere.
Yeah.
People who are arrogant. There's
A-
Canadians who are
There's
asswipes
a
too,
big
right?
percentage down south that's an asshole.
Exactly. So, just because I had one experience with one guy who was a jerk in the States, now that makes all the United States a bunch
Yeah.
of assholes? Like, get out of here, Broussard, man. He's uneducated and he's talking to things he doesn't know just
This
to...
is the last time
just to
anyone's
build
gonna
up
be
his
talking
profile.
about fucking Broussard.
Broussard, like... I don't know if I can watch his stuff
It's
after this,
I love
man.
how fucking all the Toronto fans jumped on his
His
Instagram.
Instagram page,
is
shouts to
destroyed.
Toronto fans. You guys are savage
Bro,
beyond belief, man.
On his family photos, they're like, yo,
Like,
your
too
family
far,
looks
though.
soft.
I didn't see anywhere it's like giving threats or anything, but to go on his picture of his family saying, yo, your family's soft, and it was hilarious, like watching
Good,
the comments.
But that's what he deserves, you know? If you're gonna bring this negative energy to yourself, okay, then
Be
have
ready.
people comment on your fucking...
You want that clout? You
on
got
your
it, my friend.
daughter's photos saying that you're soft.
Yeah.
Like,
It's hilarious, like his posts even talking about it.
hmm.
You just see like a couple Americans defending, talking trash about Canadians, and then like 75 Canadians are just ripping on this one American who's
It's too-
defending him. And it was the best part is
We take shit to heart. Yeah,
the best part is it wasn't just Canadians, it was Toronto mans. I would say 80% of the comments were calling him a waste man or a waste
because of six buzz, bro. Once 6 buzz put it up, bro, everyone went straight to this guy.
Every other comment was calling him a waste man. Oh,
Good,
it was
bro.
hilarious.
Now he's fucking waste man of the fucking year.
Yeah.
So far.
Well, there's one more topic I want to tee off on that really got me pissed off watching Golden State and Houston last night. All right? And
forgot.
I just got to ask, can NBA players, especially the ones playing for Golden State and Houston, stop bitching to the refs for even 1 quarter, 1 minute, 1 game? Is that too much to ask? James Harden, you make me sick. Okay? He gets so many foul calls on 3-pointers, more than I've ever seen in at least the 10 years that I've been watching basketball. And especially in the playoffs.
He leads the league.
Yeah. And then he, on a follow-through, elbows Draymond in the head. All right? And then he's still, the next shot, he drains it, and he's still smacking his elbow like a loser in the ref's face, smacking his elbow, complaining that he needs a foul called on that 3-point attempt. All right? It's ridiculous. You have 15 points, and you're playing a great game. Just focus on the damn game, and put your head down, and play basketball. It's absurd. It's soft. It's ridiculous. And you look at a guy like Chris Paul, who's got a notorious rep for being bad with refs, yelling at them, ripping them. He has shut his mouth and played basketball this playoffs. Yesterday, he got called for an atrocious offensive foul, charging on Iguodala, whose feet were moving and flopped. He just went, handed the ball to the ref, and went back and got set on defense. Is that impossible for anybody else in the NBA to do? And stop complaining and complaining and bitching. Kyle Lowry does it too. Everybody in the NBA, even the Raptors players, you know you're not getting the calls. Can you just focus on basketball for once in your life? I mean, like Chris Broussard wants to call all of Canada soft. Well, look at your damn sport, man. It's an epidemic. And everyone involved should feel ashamed and embarrassed. The NBA is closing in on soccer's reputation, and it needs to end now. I'm sick and tired of watching these games and being the biggest storyline being, oh, these guys bitch to the refs and complain about the refs after every game, during every game, and everything. Bro, just stop.
Furthermore, Kyrie Irving, the biggest story after Game 3 was, what's it called? There's refs are slowing the game down. No, you are by freaking slapping up Giannis every time he drives into the paint.
Yeah.
Like, they show a replay slow motion. There's 10 hands grabbing his elbow, his bicep, his shoulder. And you're telling me that's not a foul? Because you personally, I didn't commit anything.
Do refs make bad calls? Yes, they do.
Of course, but they have the hardest job on the court besides being a player.
It is human mistake. If it's an absolute atrocious call, like, or somebody missed something, like Ben Simmons elbows Kyle Lowry in the balls. All right, I get it. But on every 3-point shot, man, you are jumping 4 feet forward, Jimmy Butler and James Harden. Shut the hell up.
The thing is, those, like, they're known, they create the contact. As much as they want to say, I was fouled, you created it by, like, James Harden, what he does, he holds the ball down low. Yeah. Once you reach even a little bit towards the ball, he lifts his arm up quickly so that it looks like you just slapped him on the forearm. Yeah. You're creating the contact. Yeah. He didn't do anything to physically stop you from shooting. And the thing all he did was play defense.
The thing is, once one team starts doing it, the other team starts doing it. Harden was complaining yesterday, even though he was fouled on 3-pointers yesterday and got the foul calls. That's Are you kidding me? Yeah. And then Steph gets upset because Steph got the same contact, which I think is not a foul, but it's the same contact. So then Steph goes to the ref and says, hey, I'm an all-time great shooter. Why am I not getting the same calls? And then it just continues and lingers and goes on the whole game. Then post-game press conference. Then pre-game the next game. It's sickening.
Most
it's
situations
maddening.
Should be handled as Kawhi Leonard handles them. He gives them the first, and then he keeps playing. That's it. You don't have to go on about it for freaking 10, 20 minutes. If you actually feel like you got hit and they didn't call anything, give him the look. Nothing. Go. Why do you have to go to his ear and start arguing with him? You're not getting anywhere with that. He's not going to go back. Okay, you know what? Let me go change that for you. Like, no.
And Chris Broussard thinks Canadians are soft.
It's literally what those players are doing is they're trying to hide the fact that they just created a terrible turnover and a bad possession.
97% of the time. Exactly what it is. They had a bad shot, a miss, a bad pass, whatever it may be. And we need an excuse. Oh, ref, you should have given me a call. Yeah. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. All right. That was our segment Boiled Over, where I tee off on a topic.
Yes, it was.
Addis chimes in. And I'm Jay Boyle. He's out as Kucukovic.
Yes, sir.
That
Fuck
will-
Chris Broussard, or whatever the fuck his name is.
All right, and
How do you say his name?
Chris
La-
Broussard.
Broussard?
Broussard. Broussard.
I don't want to know.
It sounds French. Sounds like he's from Canada. You softy.
Chris Wasteman? Fuck you.
We'll talk to you guys next time. We're from In the Mix. We're out.